Hey, Bass Geek here, and today we're going to do a keeper cull on a YouTube special. So first off, I want you to know this is not a sponsored video. I had a company contact me a little while back, and in a live stream I told you guys that I actually turned them down. Now, they wanted to send me a free reel so that I could do a video and tell you where to come and tell you where to buy it. I initially told them no because I don't like to get caught up in the whole YouTube advertisement. If I use something and I know it's good, that's when I'm going to tell you guys about it. But the more I got to thinking about it, the more I got to thinking, well, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there, and this is, you know, a conversation for another video, but, you know, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that do a lot for free stuff. And, yeah, free stuff is great, but at least promote it honestly. If you've ever used it, what you really think about it. A lot of channels do, a lot of channels don't. And I just don't want to get caught up. I think we sell ourselves short, or we estimate our worth as small channels too low, and it hurts what all of our channels are worth across the board by just accepting some free stuff from a company that wants you to show it off for them. Now, all that being said, basically the reason I'm doing this, and again, it's not sponsored, I'm not teamed up with them, I'm not pro staff for them, have not agreed to anything other than this. I sent him back an email with basically a counter offer, and my counter offer was, let me fish this reel for a month or 2 months, really try it out, and I want to be honest about it. I'll do a keeper cull series on it, and I'll tell you whether I think it's good or bad, because I really wanted to get it out on the water. Now, just to make sure that this is on the up and up, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give this reel away at the end of this video, and whoever wins it, you will be required in the comment section below, and I'll pin it, to write your own personal review of this particular reel. But the more I got to thinking about it, the more I know that there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that are talking about, you know, a lot of reels, a lot of gear that they just get, and, you know, they haven't ever used, and, you know, they're telling you you should go out and buy it, or they haven't used it over long-term periods. So I thought, when I contacted the guy back and made the counter offer, and basically said, understand, go look at my Veritas rod review. You know, I can get pretty brutal with what I think about gear, because I'm pretty picky. I've been doing this for a lot of years, so I'm pretty picky about the gear that I use. And if I'm going to suggest it to one of you guys, you know I'm going to be super picky about it, because I don't ever want to see in the comment section, hey, you're a liar, this sucks, I hate this reel, it's a piece of junk, or see that on another YouTube channel. Now listen, we're always going to get a lemon in the bunch. I tell everybody that. You know, I kind of live by the 3-strike rule. And sometimes, you know, that burns me, but hey, whatever. But I felt like it was my duty to come to you guys and say, well, you know what, let me do an honest review of this. And that's what I told him in my rebuttal email. Let me do an honest review. Let me actually use it for a month, 2 months, tell you what I think about it, tell you how it holds up. You know, I told him, I said, I'm not gonna put this up against, you know, some of my $100, $200, $250 reels. You know, this reel isn't in that category. But I am going to tell you whether it matches up in what my opinion is the best beginner reel on the market, which is the Black Max by Abu Garcia. All right, let's unbox it and let's get to looking at it. So let's tear this bad boy open and see what we've got here. Dual brake, super powerful. Go with family. Okay. So this is a right hand retrieve, 6'3" to 1. Good sort of all around speed. 18.5 pounds of drag. That's pretty good. What is it? Max drag, 18.5 pounds. There's your retrieve. There's all your stats. So let's pop it open here and see what the reel itself looks like. Comes with a nice little case. There's a tool to remove the and there's all your parts list. Take it out of the package. 6'3" to 1. That's very easy to press. I don't know how hard that is to come out. Dual braking system, I like that. But that's very, very easy to press. Don't know how tight everything is, but not a lot of play in it. So I mean, it feels pretty tight, pretty smooth. There's your line capacities, braking system. Let's get that up. Yeah, you know, not a lot of resistance. Don't hear the gears very much. Everything's pretty standard. Plastic body. I don't know if the body itself is aluminum. I'll look at that later. Real wide handle. I like that. All right, first impressions. You know, out of the box, it doesn't look bad. You know, again, let's spool it up and see what it's actually got. Okay, so we've got the Piscifun reel out here on the water. I didn't get a chance to actually line it up because all my line was actually in the boat, other than one spool of 50-pound test, and that's what I put on there. Braid, actually, just some cheap braid. Generally, I always back all my bait cast reels with braid, just because it lasts longer than mono. It doesn't start to get sticky and break down. I can actually take it and spool it off and onto another bait caster and get another couple of years use out of it. Now mind you, when I say backing on a bait caster, I'm not casting down to that braid, so it's not a leader, it's just backing, and braid tends to hold up better and just lasts longer to me than monofilament does. Now the other thing that I like about putting braid backing on is you get a little faster spool speed, so you'll get a little better casting distance on it. So we've got it out here. We're going to check it out. We're going to really put it through some paces because I'm going to put it on my swim bait rod. We're going to throw it around a little bit today and see what we can find out with it. Really test those brakes. That seems to be the difference between the cheaper reels and like your $100 best bang for the buck reels. The brakes and the drag tend to be where they go cheapest. So let's see what we think. So guys, one of the things I do with a new reel is I go ahead, if it's got dual braking, which this does, you can see here, you've got the magnetic and you've got the centrifugal brakes. So what I do is generally, I put half the brakes on to start with here and see how I like it. And all you do to put these brakes on is you either pop up. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you pop up the ones adjacent to each other. Now, as far as the actual magnetic braking system, generally I will start with it cranked. If I can get it back on there, keep missing. It's hard to do this with one hand. There we go. Generally, I will start out with it cranked up to 10. Just a new reel, generally I will crank it all the way. Now, there is a setup, and I'll explain that. When I'm actually tying the bait on, I turn this off, and I adjust the drop rate only by the spool tension knob. So then I turn this all the way up to 10 and I slowly start backing it off. Okay, so guys, what I did, if you can see that, is I just tied a uni to uni knot. Now again, this goes back to me saying it really doesn't matter what kind of knot you tie here from the braid to the fluorocarbon. Again, I'm not using a leader, so what I'm going to do is, you know, I'm going to put about 3 casts worth of fluorocarbon on here, so you should really never get down to this knot. Alright guys, so here we have it. It's spooled up. I've got it on a 6-gil 7.3 medium heavy power rod. This is actually my, forgive me, I'm adjusting my trolling motor here, keep us off the bank. This is actually my swim bait rod, my favorite swim bait rod. I will do a review of the 6-gil stuff. They're a small company, I believe, out of Texas, and bought several rods from them. We'll do a review on that later, but right now we're doing a review on the Piscifun Perseus reel. Now this is a $45 to $50 reel depending on where you get it from. So we're going to see. This would be a good beginner reel, and you know, like I told you earlier, compared to the Black Max, which I think, in my opinion, is the best beginner reel by Abu Garcia, I will tell you the feel, and I've got a buddy at work who actually owns the black and the silver, and his first impression was that the feel of this reel actually is, it's kind of impressive, guys. You know, I really want to hate on it, but so far I can't. So here's the first cast. Well, let's set up the rate of fall first. So here we go. As you can see, we'll cast out that direction. What I've got here is I've got the brake set all the way off, and what I want is a nice smooth fall, and that is not it. So I'm going to tighten that spool tension knob. I can't do this with just one hand. And funny enough, the spool tension knob clicks. Nope. All right, let's try it one more time. Now I did tighten the drag down also right now. Tighten it all the way down. We got 15-pound test backed by 50-pound braid. 15-pound test fluoro backed by 50-pound test braid. If I get a hold of a fish, I'm wrenching him in. Let's see. So far, the spool tension knob, I'm cranking her down, and don't seem like it can handle maybe this bigger bait. It's a 1/2 ounce head and a 5-inch boom shad. So I'm gonna set you down for a minute. We'll see what happens. All right, so we cranked the speed up to 10 here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's up to 10. We've got a good rate of fall. So let's make our first cast with it, see what we think. All right, so test number 1 was a fail on the angler's part. I didn't put the braid on tight enough. If you don't put that braid on good and tight, which means you need resistance when you're spooling it up, that'll happen. So we're not going to blame the reel. I turned all the brakes on this time, Let's see what happens on the next cast. Woo. Well, I'll say one thing, the centrifugal brakes really work, because I didn't get very far at all. So let's bring this in. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn off some of the centrifugal brake. All right, let's try this out again. We've got only 2 of the 6 centrifugal brakes on. Check our fall rate. It's pretty good. That's a little better. I'm pretty impressed right now with the braking system. I'm actually going to cut this down, the magnetic brake, down to about an 8, and we'll kind of see what happens here. I'm going to get it tweaked in, and then I'm actually going to go fishing. So we've tweaked the magnetic brake down. Let's see what happens. Still pretty good, guys. I'm really impressed with the braking system. Pretty good cast right there. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I'm going to turn all the centrifugal brakes off. They really have stopping power right at the end. Guys, again, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I want to talk horribly about this reel, but so far so good. All right, so fish are popping everywhere. Let's just go fishing. So we've been using the baits on the heavier side of the spectrum with the swim bait rod. Now I've put it on my jerk bait rod, and we're going to see how it holds up throwing some lighter baits.
I got a box of tackle you probably interested in. I got all kinds of plugs. Some of them are old. There's a few I got old, but I got a heavy box line full.
Well, I'd like to see them.
I live down out there in Colford. I lived up there almost a year ago with fishing.
Caught a stick fish anyway. I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with this reel. Every time I come up here on my sonar, there is a huge wad of trout right over there on that thing. I sit up here and watch guys catch them. I sit up here and watched a bunch of guys catch them one day while I was flipping down that wood over there. And I mean, it was just one after another after another. Well, I am really impressed with this thing. All right, guys, so we've casted heavy baits with it. We've cast big swim baits with it. Well, not big swim baits, but, you know, 5-6 inch, you know, something that's about an ounce. It seemed to work really well. Now I'm casting it on a medium with 10-pound test. Again, you know, it's got the 50-pound braid backing on it. And it casts smooth as silk. Got the brakes cut down to just a little over halfway. Got 2 brakes on the centrifugal brakes inside. Again, it's a dual braking system, and you know, I'll just have to say, so far it's passed every test I've thrown at it. So what's the final verdict on this reel, guys? You know, before this I would have recommended that you buy the Black Max, that it was the best beginner reel out there. You know, I told you about the guy at work. He's actually really excited about this reel. And my honest opinion is, you know, it's a keeper. Guys, I wanted to hate on this reel. I wanted to tell you that all these other YouTube channels were full of crap, that they were getting something free, and just telling you what the company wanted to tell you. Again, I'm not affiliated with this company. They sent me this reel. As a matter of fact, I'm giving this reel away to you guys, and I really wished I could keep it, but you know, I said in the video earlier that I filmed at an earlier time I was going to give it away to you, so I'm going to be a man of my word and send it out to you guys. Like I said, this reel for $50 or less really makes a great utility reel. I'm super amazed with it. You're not going to fish super finesse baits, and anything really an ounce or more you probably want to stay away from, because you really have to crank the spool tension knob down on those heavier baits. and that means that you're going to cause, you're going to cause some damage to the reel over time. But as far as a good all-around utility reel for $50 or less, I've not touched better. Now I will tell you this: these Piscifuns, the favorites, the Cast Kings, a lot of the others, my understanding is they're all made in the same factory by the same company. So, to be honest with you, there's some variations in what they use and pricing and all this. So it doesn't mean they're the same reel, but it doesn't mean they're not either. I have not used the Cast Kings. I have not used the favorites. So all I can tell you about is the Piscifun Perseus. But I haven't bought a reel that probably costs less than $100 or retails for less than $100 in probably at least 3 years. So this is the first one that I've bought since then. And in my basement, I've got a rack full of $50 or less reels that I bought over my lifetime, and they are junk. Again, the braking and the drag tend to be the two worst spots, and I'll have to say it says dual brake super powerful on this box, and they're not lying about the brakes. Now, do they hold up over time? That's what the giveaway is going to be about. So I'm going to give this box away, or this reel away, and what you're going to do is you're going to comment worth it or not worth it. One or the other, you decide, $50 or less, what you think. And if you've ever used this reel, comment in the comment section below and let us know what you've learned or what you think or how you feel about the Piscifun Perseus. We'll do the giveaway in the very next video. So basically a week from the time this video comes out, we'll do a random drawing of the comments below. Please, only one comment per person. I will go through them and filter them out. Like I said, if you want it, worth it, not worth it, give it a try. And you will be required, after using it for a little bit of time, a month, 2 months, I want you to come back to this video and I want you to write what your experience is like, what you think about it, the pluses, the negatives. We'll pin it up so that everybody can find it and read about it and learn about it in the future. So don't just take my word for it, take your own. That's what I'm saying to you. All right, so as always, questions and comments in the comment section below. Worth it or not worth it if you want it. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and you guys rock.